All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cooler Breeze, Cosmo and Wanda, let's go! All right. You officially tuned in to another episode of The Guiding Light. It's one and only host, your main man, Demonta Hood, aka D-Hood Jet Life, aka D-Hood for short. Go ahead and cue the applause. Hey, how did she do it in Love and Basketball? She was like, ugh. It was like, Monica, keep that bad boy up all practice. She's like, what, coach? He's like, yeah, you want to pose like that? You didn't get back on D, keep that boy up all practice. Armor's probably like these when she got home. Tired as ever, like, I can't even. You get the point. All right, so today I'm doing a book review, another book review, so back to back on the book reviews. This is of Charlemagne the God. It's called Black Privilege. So if you don't know who Charlemagne is, I want to say South Carolina, because I get that confused, South Carolina, North Carolina. He's a 2-time book author. I know that for sure. He has another book out, if you want to check that out. But this book I'm doing is called Black Privilege. Black Privilege. And the thing is, this is another audio. I didn't do the visual. I didn't buy the hard copy. I bought the audio version. So saying that, he's a TV show host on like MTV2. He's done a ton of different shows on there. I'm sure he's been in a couple of movies. He's on multiple platforms. His biggest, I guess, claim to fame, I would say I've seen him for a long time throughout MTV2, but his biggest thing as of right now, I'll say, is The Breakfast Club, the radio show he has, and he has his own segments on there. If you've ever heard of Donkey on the Day, this is the guy that does that. Or he just has an iconic radio voice, or if you know, hey, you got that Drop My G. If you know that, then you know who I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and dive in. So Charlemagne the God, and so if you read the book, there's a reason why he calls himself that. I don't want to get too much on this intro because I kind of want you to read the book, but he explains why he's named that. His real name is Leonard McKelvey, which I did not know at all. I literally thought his name was Charlemagne the God. So when I found out that his name was Leonard McKelvey, I'm like, man, what in the world? So, again, diving into the book, Leonard McKelvey, his dad was a big drug dealer, and he kind of mentions that throughout the book a little bit. And I'm sorry, we're jumping in this. We didn't even do the quote of the day. Quote of the day is, "I am a lion, not the gazelle. I can, I will, I must." So let's go ahead and repeat. I am a lion, not the gazelle. I can, I will, I must. This quote is from Eric Thomas in the Proverbs of 3, and it was from a really good friend of mine. He didn't say he wanted to remain anonymous, so this is for Blair. Shout out to my homie B. Appreciate the quote, and then we can dive and break down this quote really quick. So everyone knows the lion is, on the hunt. He is the attacker. He is the aggressor. He is the hunter. Right? If we're gonna break this down to hunter-gatherers, right? The gazelle is his prey. Right, so this goes into survival of the fittest. You do what you have to survive and maintain, and that's what that references to. I can, I will, I must. I can and I will, I must. To me means I can and I will, I must be successful. I can and I will, I must work hard. I can and I will, I must do this, this, and this. That's what that second half that means to me, and I just think that's an overall good quote. Shout out to B again, because that was a really good quote. And actually, so this might be a new segment I do. I'm not sure, but just lately I've been getting a lot of packages. So I might have opened up something new. I don't even know what it is, man. And again, we still gonna do this book review, but again, I don't know what it is. I think it is, if you've seen the Mr. New York, video, then this should be the package that goes with my Mr. New York video, but I think it came later. So we're gonna check this out and see what it is. And if it is what I think it is, I'm kind of hyped. If it is what I think it is, I'm kind of hyped. Uh-oh. All right, so we open it up. Boom. It's it. It's the one right here. This that one. Hey. All I gotta say is, I get my V-Long straight from Barry and them. What? I'm official. I'm too official right now. Yes, right here. You see it, right? Dudes don't even take pictures no more. They just put that V up. That's mean. That's real mean. Super mean. What it say on the front? Legends never die. So all right, first and foremost, this is the V-Long shirt. It's got it's the orange V. Got the butterflies on the back, but this is the Juice WRLD version of it, right? I got that. Where is that? Right here, 999 for Juice WRLD. I want to say 999 was just the year he was born. I don't know. I just always heard him say that. But V-Long. If you don't know the history behind V-Long, I'll do a quick little history behind that. V-Long is ASAP Rocky, ASAP Bari, ASAP Ferg, it's the whole ASAP mob, RIP ASAP Yams. But they made that streetwear clothing brand, kind of brought it to life. They could just kind of have some ideas about stuff they wanted to do. They're really popular. They had deals with Nike. They've been on runway, Paris runway fashion shows, all this stuff. Now, I've been a big ASAP fan. I've been a big ASAP Rocky fan, ASAP Ferg fan since they came out, since the beginning. So to get this is like a big deal to me because I love this guys. Like when I was in high school, that's what we was bumping. We was bumping ASAP. We was bumping them like crazy. So to get something like this is kind of a big deal to me, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, and then I had to do the Juice WRLD collab because I kind of jumped on the Juice WRLD train a little bit later. Like a little bit later, I kind of was on Juice a little bit, but it was kind of closer to when he passed away, RP Juice WRLD. So that's why it was my favorite brand with one of the dudes that I really liked, but I liked him a little bit later, and he ended up losing his life. So yeah, that's kind of great. So I wanted that collab to go together, and then had the butterflies on there. It symbolizes, and that to me symbolizes what Juice WRLD was. He was really in tune with his emotions. If you ever heard his music, you can tell that he's really in tune with himself, and he really is in depth. So yeah, that's why it was important for me to get that. Let's see. So back to what we was doing. What we was saying. So his dad was a huge drug dealer out of South Carolina. Leonard McKelvey was arrested a lot in high school. He never talked about playing sports or anything like that. I read this book because purely off of Donkey of the Day, he literally has his own segment on a huge radio show. So that kind of shows his impact on the radio biz. And I'm like, and actually, when I turn on the Breakfast Club, that's the dude I'm looking to hear from, like, all the time, because I love his energy. I love how he comes on. I love how he has good segues. I love how he just breaks it down, and it makes it way cool for me to listen to him. Like, I just think he's hilarious. I think he has a big personality, and I think he has a huge heart. And so that's the reason I wanted to read this book and then show support to him, because I just think I've been watching him for years, and I think the dude's hilarious. He talks about the challenges of growing up in the South. He's real persistent on he's real persistent on saying he got his degree from the School of Hard Knocks, right? And if you read the book, you'll understand why he says that so much, because it's real, right? I think he dealt with a lot of real trauma. He had a lot of tragic loss around him. He speaks about losing childhood friends left and right, and the effects it had on him. He talked about one moment where I think he was talking to a counselor or a police officer or whoever, his mom. I can't remember who he was talking to, but it was a point in time when they asked him, like, okay, do you care if you live or die? Right. So they literally had to ask him, because do you care whether you're here or you're not? And I say that because he had to really reflect heavy, because the path he was on was very destructive. Yeah, again, he was arrested a lot, and then the people he were hanging out with wasn't always the best. Now fast forward to, kind of past the high school, past, he graduates, and he's kind of have to, he's got to figure out his life again, and he talks about wanting to break into radio. He talks about his failure when it comes into radio, right? He talks about, like, oh, well, I tried to do, he got fired from iHeartRadio, for, again, like, if you got one of those big in-your-face personalities, sometimes it kind of comes off the wrong way. Sometimes it doesn't always display how you want it to. And again, I think they wanted to structure some of the stuff he was doing. He was saying throughout the book that he was really raw when it came to radio. He didn't really have a lot of experience, and so he got fired from iHeartRadio, but he gained a ton of experience, during that time. And then, again, he tells about he failed a lot when it comes into radio. Where he really honed in on his skills is, if we all know who Wendy Williams is, of the Wendy Williams show, and then of the Wendy Williams radio show, talk show, all this stuff. Really great pioneer when it comes to radio and hip hop and radio, and bridging a big gap when it comes to those sounds and those sound waves. Now, she showed him how to perfect his craft, right? So I think at this point, Charlamagne, or Leonard McKelvey, was going back from South Carolina to New York, back and forth, to perfect his craft, right? So he was perfecting his craft with them, Wendy Williams, and I forget the husband who she was with at the time. My mind's going a little bit blank, so I can't remember. But yeah, she kind of showed him how to perfect his craft, how to write out certain, scripts, and how to do this, and this for radio, and to really kind of hone in on those skills. And I think that's when he kind of really understood what it meant to be on radio and what it meant to be on air. So those experiences kind of cultivated who he was today. So he really shouts them out. Kevin, I think Kevin something is the guy's name. I think he shouts them out a lot for, like, helping him, be who he is when it comes to radio. And I love who he is, right? I love that he's unapologetic. I love that he's kind of in your face with a lot of stuff, because realistically, I think artists are kind of pampered a little bit, right? I think artists are kind of pampered when it comes to their album, right? If you got your record label or whoever, you got your yes men that are around you, they're like, oh man, yeah, this album's good, man. Ooh, this album's really good. But in reality, I don't like this track, or I don't like that track. So it's certain times where he says that on the Breakfast Club. But, again, these guys, rappers, real rappers and real artists, and artists are sensitive about their music and about what they do. So it's kind of hard to tell someone, like, yeah, bro, that shit's trash. You know, you can't really. Sometimes it is hard to tell somebody that because this is their music and they're passionate about their music for a reason. So he explains a time. I don't really need the script for this part because this was my favorite part of the book. He says, I think he was out to eat with his with his girl and his family and his friends or whatever, and he said Busta Rhymes pulled up on him, and he was like, "Yo, what was you saying on the radio about this, and this?" And he's like, "Yo, this isn't the first time that a rapper's come and kind of challenged me outside of radio." And then I referenced in the beginning, you got that drop for me, G, because he was going into the Breakfast Club, the New York radio show, and someone like asked him. They had a camera and they were recording him, and then they asked him like if he can play his demo or whatever, and then someone snuffed him, right? So again, like this is kind of real, like what you're saying, because again, these artists and these people are very sensitive. So you do gotta take it with a grain of salt, whatever you say. But yeah, so I guess he got into this big thing with Busta Rhymes, and he's gotten into a lot of different altercations with different musicians because they don't like his opinion or they don't like what he says. But I respect him. You respect a person for going against the grain a little bit, but again, they're going against the grain for a reason, and that comes with real consequences, right? If it's any other profession, sometimes that means the loss of a job, right? How he talked about getting fired from radio, or sometimes that means having real altercations with people, or sometimes that means being kind of, it would be hard to get a break into the industry or whatever the case may be. So these have real repercussions for sometimes I love your heart and I love that you're authentic, but sometimes, that's going to come at a real cost. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. We gonna end with the, hold on, man. I gotta play some ASAP before because this is just too cozy. Because man. Because this was my song. So we gotta end it like this. All right, we out. Peace.